Hello, and welcome to the Taylor Seminars, where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. My name is Hannah, and I'm here with my good friend Exquisite. Hello.
Hi, Hannah.
It is so good to be with you to talk about the closing track to the standard edition of Midnights. This is track number 13, and it is produced by Jack and Taylor, and I think also written by both, right? This is probably one of the ones where they did it together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, um, let's see who wrote Mastermind by Taylor Swift. Yes, both of them. We have a little bit of some words from the creators about this song. So, apparently, Taylor was wrote this song after watching Paul Thomas Anderson's film Phantom Thread, which, if you don't know, is about, I think he's like Paul. The main character is a tailor, and which spoiler culminates in the reveal of a vast layered manipulation. I think this is Jack talking about it. Like, remember the last scene, she says, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have a lyric about being calculated? She pauses. It's something that's been thrown at me like a dagger, but now I take it as a compliment. Yeah, it was Jack.
Hmm.
Um, I'm actually not sure who is via time. Who said this? I want to say it's Jack. Oh,
I think, did
oh
Taylor
no.
not say that?
So Taylor said that to the interviewer from the Time Person of the Year. They talked about it. She also talked. That was via Time magazine. Um, so the person talking, she tells me she wrote the song after watching Phantom Thread, is the Time journalist. But then Jack Antonoff also talked about it. Quote, we made the bulk of that album in my apartment. There's a little studio in there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember when we were making Mastermind, we were laughing at each other about going this way and that way. It's a strange little song. And so, yeah. So they just wanted to try something weird, and they did. So,
Midnight's is such a weird album.
yeah, it
It's
is.
such a weird little album.
Yeah. Um, And then, the last but not least, this is Taylor talking about it. Mastermind is a song that I put last on the album because I'm really proud of it, and I love that I love that when we were making the song, we wanted the verse to sound like romance, and this part sort of heroes type of soundtrack, and then we wanted the chorus to sound like a villain has just entered the room, and the idea that you're flipping this narrative and you've been planning and plotting things and making them look like an accident. And I think that's sort of an inside joke between me and my fans that I tend to do that. And so this song is the romantic version of that.
Yes. And it's so fun.
It
But
is.
also, also she's a sick person for referencing it again when TTPD comes around. She's sick.
Yes. Yes. I mean, well, let's get into it because this whole
We'll get
idea
into
of
it
like,
basically immediately.
yeah, let me jump in. Once upon a time, the planets and the fates and all the stars aligned. You and I ended up in the same room at the same time. And the touch of a hand lit the fuse of a chain reaction of counter moves to assess the equation of you. Checkmate, I couldn't lose.
Um, so literally she opens up. I love the fact that she opens up with Once Upon a Time, like a fairy tale.
She's done it
Uh,
before in I Knew You Were Trouble once upon a time, a few mistakes ago.
Yep. So she opens up with a fairy tale, and fairy tale is all like magic and fate and star-crossed lovers, right? And so she's like, the stars aligned and we were here. Um, and we know later, and we know from this song, but we know later in the epilogue poem of TTPD, she's like, all those hand-glued stars on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Um, but here she's like, the stars are aligning, and we touched, and all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I need to figure out how to get you and keep you. That chain reaction is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely a believer, or a reoccurring motif or theme in her songs is this idea of fate. Um, these are the hands of fate. You're my Achilles heel. In
Hmm.
all of the girls, which is the kind of lover,
Hmm.
extra lover track she threw out. Like, they all the stars, they all aligned. Stuff like that. So she really does use a lot of celestial imagery to represent fate. Even I think like, yeah, there's tons of, oh yeah, your past and mine are parallel lines, stars all aligned, they intertwined, right? That's Another that's where like very much about fate. Invisible String is a song kind of about fate. You and I ended up in the same room at the same time. It can kind of be like this invisible string that made us, come together. There's this idea of this couldn't have happened, but it suddenly did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very sweet. It is very sweet, fairy tale y. And then we get this famous touch of a hand, which she's referenced before. It lit the fuse. So what was it? Was it gorgeous? You should think about the consequence of you touching my
Yeah.
hand in a
Yeah.
darkened room.
Dark room, dark room. Yeah, exactly. That was in Gorgeous. And it's like she's like, "Oh, you touched me," and then I realized I want you. Word to Glitch as well, which we'll
Yes.
get to. I can't believe Glitch is gonna have two episodes on our podcast because we literally connected to LOML all those many months ago, many moons
Mm-hmm.
ago. But yeah, so she was like, "Oh, after you touch me, it lit the fuse." And a fuse is typically what you put on bombs. So she's like, "You started it, and now I've gotta make some moves."
Yeah, it's basically like, yeah, you light a fuse that, like, in those movies where like it follows the wire down to the dynamite or TNT, and you have to, it's almost inevitable of this explosion happening. And I love that because then she carries in that language into a chain reaction, like into a chain reaction also means that a series of events happens to create some kind of explosion. For example, like a
Hmm.
nuclear explosion is a chain reaction. And then of counter moves. So we're already seeing some of this like game, like Love's a Game is a very Taylor metaphor. Exquisite is doing the biggest nods right now.
Yep, she loves that.
And to assess the equation of you, because I got to figure you out. You're a problem I need to solve. Like, what are your
Hmm.
tells? What are your the weaknesses? People, when they're dating, they're always trying to figure out like what's the thing I have to say or not say. And then suddenly she gets it. Checkmate. A very famous chess thing you say to say that you won the game. She's like, I couldn't lose. Like I knew what to do. Like she like was had some those spy things where they can calculate
Yeah,
angles with
she had
those
like
little
the
glasses.
spy glasses
Yeah.
on. He's
All right. Why don't you
Oh,
do the
I see
chorus?
exactly you now. What if I told you none of this was accidental, and the first time that you saw me, nothing was gonna stop me? I laid the groundwork, and then, just like clockwork, the dominoes cascaded in a line. What if I told you I'm a mastermind? And now you're mine. It was all by design, because I'm a mastermind.
Uh
It's so I every time I hear that, I think of the move on Aaron's tour where she like jumps into a crouch and she's pointing at the audience
yeah.
because she's like, oh, she masterminded us to be in this room too. Ugh. Anyway,
It's so good. Yeah.
Aaron's tour come back to me, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean Taylor has always played with this idea of are things accidents or is it fate? Like,
Hmm.
what if I told you none of so this in this song she's saying, what if I told you none of it was accidental? But then there's definitely in Paper Ring she literally sings, I hate accidents except we went from friends to this. Like it was an accident,
Hmm.
right? Even Glitch, going back to Glitch, right? Like it what did she say? It was supposed to be a brief interruption, a slight
Slight
malfunction,
malfunction. Hmm.
right? But then there, so it's there's like agency, but also fatalism, or not fatalism,
Yeah,
but
so it's like it's like that little bit of both. So in this song, she's like claiming it. She's like she basically is like, yes, we connected, but then I did things to keep us together,
yes,
and I wanted us to be together.
yeah,
Um, and she explained like she later on in the bridge, she explains why and why it's not like villainous, right? So this is kind of like the wink of like that first time you saw me, nothing was gonna stop me. Like once we met, I knew that we had to be together.
yeah. I was gonna lay the groundwork, like
Hmm.
start making my moves, setting up the board, and
Put
then
our foundation down.
yes, yes, and if I say this, then he's gonna say that. If I follow him on this, then this is gonna happen, and just like clockwork, just like the inevitability of time and the seconds and the
Hmm.
minutes and the hours, the dominoes that she had so carefully placed to make some kind of pattern, they
Hmm.
cascaded in a line.
Just like she wanted them to.
Hmm.
And she's like, and just like that, you're mine.
Yep. Yep.
because I designed it that way.
Yeah, she made the labyrinth in this case, right? She's like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
make a little
A little scheme, a
a
little
scheme.
trap.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and she knows she's and well, let me get to the next verse. You see, all the wisest women had to do it this way, because we were born to be the pawn in every lover's game. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Strategy sets the scene for the tale. I'm the wind in our free flowing sails and the liquor in our cocktails.
I do love this though because she points out um she's like for all of history wise women knew that if they wanted to make a good match they had to make plans or whatever. If they didn't they would probably set up with a horrible man or men they didn't want or didn't like. It's all very it's like, oh, that's a lot of work.
Or even if they just wanted an advantageous marriage, they're like, okay, I have to wear
Mhm.
this dress, go to this
Mhm.
ball, have this kind of fashion, and then stand at
Mhm.
this place in the room and have dance with this many people so that I can, right? Like there, you had to calculate those things because if you left it up to fate, you could end up with no match. What's the line in Pride and Prejudice? I'm 27. I have no prospects.
Exactly.
Right? I'm a burden to my parents. Um,
Exactly. So she's just like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is not a Taylorism. That's just a saying. So she put it in the song.
yeah, it's yeah, and it's true. Like if or in many cases, if you don't make a plan, you're gonna mess up. Like it's not just gonna
Hmm.
work out. Again, her talking about her need to mastermind, right? Like it has to go. Like otherwise, we're born to be the pawn in every lover's game, right? Which is, again,
Hmm.
her loving to talk about how love is a game. Love is a ruthless game unless you play it good and right.
Hmm.
Um, uh, let's see. There's more like all of Ready for It isn't like loves a game or back when we were card sharks playing games. I thought you were leading me on, right? Like it's another
Hmm.
game, this cat and mouse game. Cat and mouse for a month or two or three, right? like, um, but so then so she strategizes, right? She said, okay, what am I gonna do? We gotta set the scene.
Yeah. She's like, I don't want to be the pawn of this. I have to literally be the player because pawns are pieces and they're like the sacrifice pieces in chess. So she is like, I don't want to be a pawn. I
Yeah,
don't want to
and
be a
she was.
sacrifice.
What's the Dear John lyric? With,
I
I,
played in your chess game, but you change the rules every day.
right? Yeah. She's like, nope,
So she's like, not again.
yeah, not again. Um,
Yeah. So I love the strategy sets the scene for the tale because I love this is once again like that once upon a time or like when people set a scene, they're like, this is what happened. They give you like the backstory of the scene. So she's like, all my strategies are setting the scene for our fairy
yeah,
tale.
yeah. Just yeah, let me set the stage, or like let me give you the
Hmm.
context, or let me set everything up. Yeah, I love that. And so she is the wind in our oh my gosh, free flowing sails. Wow, free flowing sails.
What a way to say because like free flowing cells are supposed to be like they're being filled up like it's all like gentle. It just is what's happening, right? And she's like, actually the only reason those sails are moving and our boat is moving is because I'm doing the work to blow them and
Yeah,
make it
yeah. You
go.
think it's just some nice breeze that came off the shore, but no, like I am the wind. It didn't just happen. And she's also the liquor in our cocktails. And so, and if you don't, I don't drink too much, but I do know that, liquid courage is often what alcohol is called. It
Hmm.
loosens you up. It gives you a little bit more, lets you be a little more flirty. It lets you be a little
Yeah,
more open. And so she's like, I'm going to be that courage, but also that inhibition, a little bit less inhibitionness. And
exactly, exactly.
the way she sings that, and the liquor in our
Liquor in our
cocktails.
cocktails.
So
What if I told you none of this was accidental?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and then this one's a little different because I knew the first night that you saw me, I knew I wanted your body, and we do know that
Hmm.
they were very physically attracted to each other in the beginning.
Hmm.
So great. And then we are ready for that bridge, Exquisite.
Oh, it's so fun. No one wanted to play with me as a little kid, so I've been scheming like a criminal ever since to make them love me and make it feel effortless. This is the one time I felt the need to confess, and I swear I'm only cryptic and Machiavellian because I care. And then the the chorus switches just a little bit. It goes, I laid the groundwork and then saw a wide smirk on your face. You knew the entire time. You knew that I was a mastermind. And now you're mine. All you did was smile because I'm a mastermind. So that whole thing is so funny because it speaks to exactly what we know about Taylor. She mentions it in Mirrorball, the I've never been a natural. All I do is try, try, try.
Yeah.
Um, she mentions how when she was younger, like nobody wanted to play with her. And so she's like, in order to get people to love me, I have to give and I have to make all these moves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, she like twists it at the end and she's like, he knew what she was doing and he loved her for it anyway and let her think she was being like this high and mighty spy when he knew. And that was very sweet that he knew her and they knew each other and they knew exactly what was going on, right?
Yeah. I mean, the whole no one wanted to play with me as a little kid reminds me a lot of You're on
Heartbreaking.
Your Own Kid, right? This
Hmm.
idea that and also other songs like The Best Day and stuff where she's like kind of
Hmm.
feels like a little bit like a loner. And so she's been scheming like a criminal ever since to make them love me and make it seem effortless. Like this girl is a pathological people pleaser, right? Like
Hmm.
she's always. Yeah, I love that you did the mirror ball reference. But she really wanted to you know, she really wanted to just make sure she had a community and a place to be accepted. And she takes it to such an extent that she schemes like a criminal. Like, I will go to
Hmm.
such crazy lengths to make them love me and make it seem effortless, even though everything obviously took so much effort.
Even though I'm trying all the time so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Um, and so this poor girl who always feels like she's on the outside, right? Um, but finally, because of his I guess because of her love for him and because of how far they've come, she's like, all right, I need to be upfront and honest.
I need to be
It's
honest.
like that point
This
in
is
the
what
rom
I've been up
com where
to.
I only dated you as a dare, where he like has to tell them, like,
Yeah.
or something like that. I only dated you because then or 10 things I hate about you so that your sister could go to the prom. It's like okay,
Yeah.
but
And then they're like, yeah, I knew. It's fine.
yeah, yeah, it's
Or for those who've watched Descendants, and Hannah, I say this because I know you just watched Descendants. In that first movie, when she tells him, like, she gives him the curse breaking cupcake, and he's like, "Yeah, those were magical waters we swim in. I know you spelled me. It's fine. You just wanted to make a friend. It's
yeah,
okay."
yeah. No, he actually was like, yeah, he was attracted to her, but like, anyway, it
Yeah.
was,
It's like, yeah, it's like a moment of pure understanding between lovers of like, I know the type of person you are,
yeah,
and I know you didn't actually mean harm when you were being sneaky or trying to do all this. I know you.
yeah, um,
And
and
that's
it's so cute, and I love that she's like the word she uses to describe her mastermind self is to be like a criminal, but also cryptic, right? Like unknowable
mhm.
and Machiavellian, which is such what like to call yourself Machiavellian is crazy because if you
It's
don't
so silly.
Machiavelli was an Italian philosopher who wrote The Prince, where basically it's like the end justifies the means, kind of like do whatever you can to hold on to power.
Hmm.
And so, like, she's comparing herself to like this evil mastermind. um, and so, yeah, I do think it's very cute that she comes up to confess to him that she did something, and he just smirk. Although a smirk, like, it also gives us because I always thought like why doesn't he say smile, right? But I feel like he smirks, and she uses the word smirk because he's also kind of that. I'm also like a villain too. I'm also a mastermind. Does that make sense? Like to
Hmm.
me, it puts them on the
Yeah.
same level. Like if he just smiled, it's just this like kind, gracious boy. But maybe they're both
He's like, I was masterminding you right
yeah,
back.
exactly. They're both renegades. Haha, right? They're both
Uh,
outlaws. Um,
he's a cowboy like her, and
yeah.
you're a cowboy like me.
So and now they're going to be masterminds together. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe that you get, that he's not just some naive boy that she conned. I like that reference to A Cowboy Like Me.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that she's able to weave this story into the Eras tour, where she's literally like commanding pieces on a chessboard and they're
I
like
know.
stepping on the checkerboard, is so cool.
It's so fun. This song is so sweet. It's so sweet. Um, but it also it speaks to the years of labor. Like, of course, it is fun and it is nice to be like, we masterminded, we played around, we did all those cat and mouse games because we did it together. It was fun. But when you're the only person doing it, that's when it's like, oh, this is not fun anymore.
Yeah, right. So to be, the wind in your free flowing sails. Oh my gosh, that line's gonna haunt me forever.
Free
And,
flowing fails.
and the liquor in our cocktails, like that's fun and fine and cute when it works and it goes both ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not continual that you're the only one doing it, right? But when it gets to the point where you're the only wind, when you all you rely on is alcohol to make this relationship work, whether it's drinking alone, my fourth drink in my
Mm-hmm.
hand, or you're
Desperate
both
prayers
imbibing.
of a cursed man.
Yeah, like, yeah, you cannot mastermind people to be in love forever, right? Like, there's no way that can
And you
last.
can't mastermind yourself to be in love forever either.
Yes, yes. Um, Although I mean, I will say, like, if she definitely can retcon this to a new relationship, to be
If
like,
she wants, yep.
there are planets in the fates and all the stars aligned, and
Again.
I talked about wanting to give you my number on a podcast. It just aligned, like, and then she happened to
Oh.
hear it, whether through the grapevine or through
Mhm.
friends or through media outlets talking about it, or even on. It was like, I think it was still talked about on Swifty Twitter a bit.
It was.
Um, and then they end up, meeting up, and there's maybe another touch of the hand, lit the fuse, and
Mhm.
she was none of it was accidental at a certain point.
To be masterminded in turn.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like, I mean, I will say, making a friendship bracelet with your number on it and then owning up to it that you were rejected is kind of a mastermind. Right? It was the right move.
Yeah, it was. It was the right move. Because it's like, oh, he didn't even care. Like, oh, and he wants my attention still. Oh, anyway.
And then she shows up at a football game,
He showed up at his party. Like, what the
and
heck?
and
Anyway.
she masterminded that too. She wore that cute little outfit. She like mingled with his
Yeah.
friends and cheered at the right times. Wow.
Yeah, and it's all fun. Like, and I would like to say that this is the end of the standard version of Midnights.
Yes.
Um, and that's important because we learn a lot from how Taylor likes to end albums.
Yes.
We like so with Midnights being, I mean Midnights, oh my gosh. With Mastermind being that first ending, she's like, all my like up all nights and my stressing and worrying is fine because he sees me and he understands me and he smiles back at me when I'm scheming and wanting to be seen and loved and he knows me for who I am. So this is okay. This is fine. This is such a nice tight like ending for the album
Right.
as a whole for this standard version. It ties things up neat and tidy and then Taylor will give us an alternate ending later.
With Dear Reader, which
Yep.
is crazy. I will say, do you know what number this song debuted on the Billboard Hot 100?
Wasn't it like,
It's
I
13.
don't remember. It was like 13, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So funny. This is the first time she hit all top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. And this,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, she has 13 tracks. So you can't have all 13 be in the top 10, but it was number 13. It was blocked by 12 other Taylor Swift songs. Um, but yeah, I do love that thought about her having such a positive ending. She usually does positive endings for these
Yeah.
albums,
The
right? Like
only time she didn't was folklore.
Folklore with Hoax.
Yep.
And then I think with these kind of double
But even
albums,
yeah.
she's with Just Your Reader coming up, and then with TTPD. TTPD was kind of sad, right? Clara Bow.
Its ending was Clara Bow, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And then she was like, and then the manuscript, which are both like haunting, bittersweet, kind of scary, a bit freaky. So yeah, I think yeah, this is she's so
Yeah, she's so.
yes.
And I think
She's
the
so I don't even know words for that.
and then going backing up a little bit, zooming out a little bit. I do think that I love that she wrote this song thinking about how the fans always like comment on her like cryptic clues and
Hmm.
her Easter eggs and how she's a mastermind and how she I will say Swifties that take that quote out of like and run with it, the one where she's like, sometimes I plan things 3 years in advance. Guys, she's not talking about Easter eggs. She's talking about like planning a tour 3 years in advance. Like,
Yeah, like
it's
please,
yeah.
everyone be calm.
But this idea though that she does care so much about her art and her fans and their experience that she does like to plan things and I think for this album one of the Easter eggs she did was at midnight. She kept saying that and she would do capital M's and then space out all the words. It was very like looking back, you're like, oh, she was very much being like midnight, midnight, midnight.
Hmm.
But yeah, that is definitely something that we do love about Taylor and the Taylor Swift universe that she builds because of her big brainness. So we love you,
Yeah,
Tay Mastermind.
we do. Oh. But yeah, so that's the end of the standard track, and we will get into the Great War next week,
Oh my
which we
gosh. Yeah,
oh brother.
no, it's yeah, and this standard
Oh my
album,
God.
yeah, was a nice crisp 13, and then we're gonna get what 7 more songs that are
Yeah.
that definitely expand the universe of the feelings she
Yeah.
was
Oh my
feeling.
God. Oh, Taylor. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. Hearing the Great War. Oh, next week maybe it may be hard like Sweet Nothing was because something about the Great War, it makes me crazy. Do you have an emoji, Hannah?
I was gonna do like the evil eye,
Ooh, that could be fun.
but then if we want to do something a little bit closer to, um, do they have dominoes?
You know,
They do
maybe.
not. They do not. All right. So let's. Oh no, I think we've done the evil eye before. So don't do that. Sorry, people, if you've done that. We're gonna have to do something else that's cute.
Maybe we can do a needle and thread, a thread.
Over
She's
the Phantom
pulling the
thread.
thread. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, there is both thread and a needle and thread. So one of those you can pick depending on how you feel. It also is very like invisible string fate. I love that. I love that. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for sticking around with us for these first 13 tracks of Midnights. We will be back next time with the Great War and the 3 a.m. tracks, and we'll talk about how the 3 a.m. tracks made us feel when they first dropped. Were you even awake?
I was. I had a flight that left at 5 a.m. and I was up till like 1 and I was like, I'm just gonna stay up because I'm an hour behind. So it was 2 a.m. when it hit for me.
Dang.
And I heard the Great War. And
Okay. Oh, hold it. Save it. Everyone, we will hear Exquisite Thought on the Great War next week.
next
Uh,
week.
we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.